Hello and welcome to the show. Today is December 3rd, 2022. Let me start by saying that I am not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. This information is intended for entertainment and educational purposes only. Today we'll be talking about stock symbol MMTLP. The story is coming to a close. This is the weekend update. We have one full week of trading coming up. Okay. If you're not familiar with what MMTLP is, we're talking about oil and gas assets that are going to be spun out into a company called Next Bridge Hydrocarbons. What's happening is there's about 3.2 billion barrels of oil in the ground and a bunch of natural gas in West Texas near El Paso. There's two pipelines that are relatively close by to it. One's an oil pipeline, the other is a natural gas pipeline. They're very close to this find. And in El Paso, Texas, there is a Marathon refinery, so you can take that oil and refine it. It's very close by. And furthermore, this is what's called private land in Texas, which means you do not need a federal lease in order to drill for oil. You can just go there and drill. It's Texas. That's the way things are there. So it's very valuable in that respect. If you don't know what the story about Torchlight Energy, metamaterials, and all this stuff is, I've got some videos to talk about that. It's pretty late to get in the game and to understand it all. But these videos will give you a detailed description as to what's going on. They're about 43 minutes and 35 minutes each. They talk about the story of Torchlight Energy, how they found the oil, how they wanted to get out of the oil business, unfortunately, because the price of oil was negative $47 a barrel, all that stuff. They wanted to merge with a company called Metamaterials, and then, the price of oil started moving up. And then we talk about how I discovered a video by someone called Roller Pigeons. She had a novel way of estimating the value of all of this oil-rich lands over there. And it goes over the in-depth details. I recommend you check it out. If, on the other hand, you just want to know what's going on, if you're brand new to MMTLP and you just want an FAQ, I've got an FAQ video. Check that out. Also, if you have stop losses, you should definitely check out my video about shorts triggering stop losses. If you do have stop losses for this particular play, they will get triggered by shorts because there are active shorts in MMTLP right now. And they want to create what's called a waterfall or a cascading effect. And I also have a video about 1 full year of trading on the OTC markets because MMTLP has been trading for greater than 1 year now. With regard to the filing process and spinning out of this new company called Next Bridge Hydrocarbons, I've got a bunch of videos on that about the S1 process. They do operate in order. So the last video assumes that you've seen the video before that. So try to check out the videos in order. The first 2 or 3 videos could be all that you need because there's not much changes after the third amendment. Or after the second amendment. I forget if it's the second or third. Anyway, so there's not too much changes towards the last few amendments, and check it out. Meanwhile, we have done what's known as the 424. So the 424 has been accepted. We have a date. We have an end date for when the stock should end trading, and we are currently awaiting for what's called a corporate action to come from our broker dealers. Now, how does this really work? What happens is the broker dealers don't decide for themselves what to do. They get a memo basically from the DTCC, or the DTC stands for the Depository Trust Corporation, or the Depository Trust and Clearing Corporation. One's a subsidiary of the other. And so what happens? The DTCC doesn't decide this on their own. They get what's called a daily list. There's a daily list of various corporate actions, and that daily list commes from a place called FINRA. Right. So FINRA releases a daily list to the DTC. The DTC releases corporate actions which go to broker dealers. This company is basically going private, and it's going private under Section 15D. Okay. And what is that? When a company goes private, you can't short a private company. So shorts have to close their positions. That's the premise we're operating under. Okay. This is a daily list of the FINRA. This is what we're waiting for. FINRA, as of Friday, they have not done anything. If you scroll through the daily list, we can see page 1, page 2. There is no MMTLP on this daily list. Okay. Why do I care? Because, of course, this is where everything starts from. So we need FINRA to release the daily list. And towards that end, we've been seeing some tweets from both George Palikaras and later on from John Berta to FINRA to say, hey, let's get the ball rolling here. Why haven't you released the daily list? George Palikaras on November 30th, he tweeted that he has requested FINRA to halt MMTLP on December 14th at the close. That's the current distribution date, or to freeze trading on December 12th at the close. And that's the current record date. Okay. So he said, please take the time to read the S1. No public trading after the distribution date. There is no ex-dividend date. Nothing exists after the dividend. The dividend is it. So the last tweet makes things crystal clear, and he says, to be crystal clear, Next Bridge Hydrocarbons will not be a public company post the spinoff. It will be private, and under Section 15D, the new management will be filing public documents until fiscal year end. Okay, that means December 31st, 2022. Info is available on the effective S1 that's been filed. Please read. Okay, basically, the company is going private. When the company goes private, shorts must close their positions. That is a given. That's a fact. Okay, you can't short a company that's private because you don't have shares to sell to people because no one's loaning you their shares. You cannot be. You can't short a private company. It just doesn't happen. Okay, simple. So what can FINRA say? Well, this is FINRA's holiday and operating schedule, and they can say, well, you told us this around Thanksgiving time frame. We took off for Thanksgiving. You can't really count Thanksgiving, can you? We took off for then. We have to spend time with our family. Come on, we're human. And they're right, of course. People need to spend time with their family. That's a given. Okay? Happy Thanksgiving to everybody. And of course, they took the day after Thanksgiving. They were actually working for half a day. But only for half a day. So effectively, those 2 days are basically gone. So FINRA's, they have to spend time and do what they do, holidays and all that stuff. So we had a whole week after Thanksgiving, okay, for FINRA to start doing that stuff, but they have not done anything yet. It normally takes 7 to 9 days, 7 to 9 calendar days. So, yeah, I'm expecting some corporate action from FINRA Monday or Tuesday, hopefully. That means Monday or Tuesday it's going to get down to the broker-dealers. And what does that mean? That means we have about a week of trading. Right, from the 5th to the 9th, a week of regular trading. If we don't get corporate action notices on Monday, if we don't get them on Monday, but we get them on Tuesday after the close of day Tuesday, say, that means shorts will be attacking on Monday or Tuesday up until that corporate action notice gets out. Once that goes out, they know they have to close their positions. They will start closing. Okay, they have 3 days to close, and they have 3 days to close. On the 12th, if they do not close, I believe, the broker-dealers will close for them, right? So they'll basically have the 7th, 8th, and 9th to close. So, and by close, we mean for shorts, you have to buy to close because you already sold the shares in order to open your short position. So you have to buy to close your shares, okay? So if there are 280 million shorts and they need to close their position in 1 day, that's 280 million shares of buying, pure buying that needs to be done in 1 day. I don't know if anyone's going to sell that many shares. There's only 165 million shares that were issued. Anyway, but if it takes 5 days, they got 56 million shares a day have to be bought in order to close, right? If there's only 80 million shares and not, let's say that there's not 280 million shares. Let's say that there's only 80 million shares. They still have to buy 16 million shares a day to close in 5 days. 16 million shares per day. If they close in 1 day, of course, it's 80 million shares. All the shares need to close in that 1 day. This is the price chart for last week. And in particular, if you look at the volume, you can see that there has been a volume of about 1.1 million shares of volume on Friday. Let me repeat, 1.1 million shares of volume on Friday. And the 10-day average, there's 2 million shares per day of volume. That's nowhere near the 16 million shares of volume that you would need to start closing your positions. That's why myself and everyone else has been saying shorts have not been closing their positions. If they had, we'd be seeing these volume numbers spike up. We have not seen volume numbers like this at all at all. So therefore, shorts are not closing their positions. This is a given. This is a given. So what's going to happen? What's going to happen is that shorts need to close. That volume is going to spike up because it's all going to be buying in order to close. Prices will rise. And yeah, that's what happens, right? Prices rise. So you know this. I know this. The shorts know this, okay? We all think that this is who we're dealing with on the shorts. This is a scene from the movie Margin Call. If you have not seen the movie Margin Call, stop watching this video and find the movie Margin Call somewhere on a streaming service or something and watch it. Check it out. It's worth watching the movie. This is an excellent movie. This tells you what the smartest guys on the street do when they know that the system, that when they know they're going to be margin called, when they know that they're going to be underwater, when they know that they're on the losing side of the trade. These are the smartest guys in the room. And the reason that I say that they are the smartest guys in the room is they got out first. They took a big loss, but they got out first. These guys are competent. These guys held a meeting at 3 a.m. in the morning to figure out what they had to do, and they took action the following day, okay? Granted, 3 a.m. in the morning is tough, hard. These guys got out first. They're the smart guys. They're the smartest guys in Wall Street. That's not who we're dealing with. This is who we're dealing with, okay? We're dealing with Kerrisdale Capital. We're dealing with the Sam Andragis of the world. Who is Sam Andragi? He's the CEO of Kerrisdale Capital. He was arrested on DUI charges and cocaine charges in the Hamptons because he ran into an SUV at 3 a.m. in the morning. He didn't just run into an SUV at 3 a.m. in the morning. He ran into an SUV at 3 a.m. in the morning that was on the other side of the road. He wasn't even driving on the right side of the road. Okay? This is who we're dealing with. Don't kid yourself. We're not dealing with rocket scientists. We're not dealing with people who have advanced PhDs. We're dealing with Sam Andragi, Kerrisdale Capital, people like that. Okay? This isn't even, Ken Griffin level. This is nowhere near Ken Griffin level. Okay? This is Sam Andragi. Very simple. So, let's get back to FINRA. Okay. FINRA says that a vibrant market is at its best when it works for everybody. Okay? This is what FINRA says on their corporate website. If you look at what FINRA says about themselves, they say every investor in America relies on one thing: fair financial markets to protect investors and ensure investors' integrity. FINRA, the Financial Industry Regulatory Agency, is a government-authorized, not-for-profit organization that oversees U.S. broker-dealers. We work every day to ensure that everyone can participate in the market with confidence. Okay? This is what FINRA says about themselves. This is what I think about FINRA. This is who I think they are. Okay? I think they're an NGO, non-governmental organization, and they're also an SRO, self-regulatory agency, self-regulatory organization. And they work with the SEC and the DTC and the DTCC. Okay? Their members, or the people who, pay FINRA, are the broker-dealers. Okay? Their goal is to help the people who pay them, pay their salaries. And those are the broker-dealers. So they will protect the broker-dealers and help the broker-dealers in their everyday life. That is their goal. And the way they do it is that they promote the idea, okay, that the U.S. markets are generally fair, free of corruption, and a safe place for you to invest your money. And not just you, foreigners and other people outside the United States. It's a safe place for everyone to invest and store their money. Okay? So, their goal is to spread that message far and wide to both you, me, and everybody on the planet. The U.S. is safe and fair. Okay? And that's what they do, right? That's their whole goal. And they do that by making sure that there's a general perception that everything is on the up and up. Now, we know that there's been some odd things happening with FINRA and the DTCC and all that. And I put out this tweet the other day. And it was kind of maybe not as plain as day as it should have been, okay? So I'm going to put out this message, okay? the problems we've seen that come out of the DTC lately and FINRA, places like that, are with regard to GameStop and AMC Ape. Right? There were 43 million failures to deliver in AMC Ape, in Ape, the very first day of trading. GameStop was supposed to have a split via dividend, and instead the DTC said it was just a split. So there were some mistakes made there. And it's possible that the mistakes were either accidental, it's possible they were intentional, who knows. In any case, the level of shorting of GameStop and AMC, it's possible that those particular plays could, if things went the way that they should have gone down with GameStop and AMC, it's quite possible that those stocks could take down the entire U.S. economy. Let me state that again. It's quite possible that GameStop, due to the level of shorting, could crash the U.S. economy. Now, if I know this, chances are you know this. And if you and I know this, we're nobodies. Chances are FINRA knows this, okay? If FINRA and the DTC know this and the SEC know this, do they really want to be responsible to tell the people who, pay their salaries and their bills and all that, and to tell Congress and the American public, hey, yeah, we followed the rules. We crashed the U.S. economy because, we got to follow the rules. No, they're not going to do that, right? If they can avoid crashing the U.S. economy, they will avoid crashing the U.S. economy, okay? They're going to say that, hey, look, if push comes to shove, they're going to say that they had to take action with regard to GameStop and AMC to save the short sellers because that was save the U.S. economy. Because it was that big of a problem. Okay? If push comes to shove, that's what they'll say. Guaranteed. Okay? MMTLP is not GameStop. MMTLP is not AMC. It's not Ape shares. Okay? MMTLP is a tiny, small problem. What does that mean? Because they're a tiny, small problem, it will not bring down the U.S. economy. It should not bring down the U.S. economy. Okay? We're talking about some undeveloped land out in West Texas. 3.2 billion barrels of oil. Yes, oil is expensive. There's 3.2 billion barrels of it, yes. But the U.S. economy is a lot bigger than some oil-rich land in Texas, right? There should be no need to break up and to suspend the rules to prevent MMTLP from happening. Zero. MMTLP should go down the way that it was intended, okay? If they break the rules for such a tiny problem, a tiny, insignificant problem, if they break the rules to do that, what does that say? That says that the system is fragile. That says they had to do this because the U.S. economy could crash in an instant if they didn't. What? The U.S. economy can crash because some guys found some oil in West Texas and some short hedge funds went out there and shorted the crap out of it? Is that how fragile the U.S. economy is? I certainly don't think so. And they should not be delivering that message, because if they do deliver that message, then people will hear about it. Not you, not me. We don't count. We're tiny little players, okay? People will hear about it in terms of the big financial institutions that are even outside the U.S., right? International organizations, people with tons and tons of money. If they think the U.S. economy is fragile, they will withdraw their funds from the U.S. economy, because what the WTF? Are they going to keep their money in an economy so fragile that some oil-rich land in West Texas can take down that entire economy? Hell no. Would you? Would you? Think about it. Right? You don't want to invest in something that's so fragile that a slight tiny puff of wind could take it down. No, that's what MMTLP should be. It should be a slight tiny butterfly wing. Okay, it shouldn't matter to anybody. And you don't want FINRA, if they go out of their way to have some major changes or irregularities with regard to MMTLP, that's the message that they send. And it's a message they send to the wrong people. They don't want to be sending that. They know that. They're smart people there, okay? They're very intelligent people at FINRA, okay? Anyway, John Berta, he says a friend of his spoke with the FINRA examiner. He was told, FINRA are acutely aware of the MMTLP issue. But their FINRA examiner said, we can deny corporate action or the request changed to the S1 using Rule 6490. Okay? That's just, what do you call it? That's just a gut reaction from somebody, right? If you ask, hey, do you have to do this? I say, well, let's see, do I have to do this? Well, I could always do something else because of, I do have an exemption here and there. Are they going to? I don't think so. Okay. Anyway, what is Rule 60? So I think this is just a gut reaction from someone who says, I don't have to do this. I could do this. I probably will do this, probably. But, I'm not going to tell you I'll probably do this. I can do whatever I want. This is just someone trying to express their independence. Okay. And good for them. They're independent. Will they be doing this? It's very rare for FINRA to deny corporate actions. Okay. What is 6490? What is the last bullet item in 6490? It talks about significant uncertainty in the settlement and clearing process. Okay, this is what they're talking about. In some circumstances, FINRA may decline to process corporate action requests. It can find a request deficient only if the requests are deficient, then it can decline to process them. And it can find a request deficient only if item 1, item 2, item 3. The last one is the one that matters that we think about, and that's there is significant uncertainty in the settlement and clearance process of this security. There should be no significant uncertainty in the settlement and clearing process of this security. We know how this thing settles. It settles in 2 days through the DTC. T+2 settlement, that means you have it on the record date, you hold through the record date, and you get the Next Bridge Hydrocarbons shares. That's how it settles. If you're going to be selling on that date or something, that's something else. Who knows? And that should be a small number of people. Okay. This thing has to clear on the record date. The 12th matters. This is why the 12th matters. Okay. John Berta also makes another tweet. He says, this info is correct. However, FINRA sends corporate action notices to member firms, not the company. That's true. They send corporate action notices to the DTC, which is a member firm, and the DTC sends corporate actions to the broker-dealers. That's what we care about. We have this tweet also that someone sent to John, that someone sent to John Berta, sorry. And he says, in my opinion, I could see FINRA asking them to clarify once and for all that people buying MMTLP are entitled to Next Bridge Hydrocarbons and not just those that got their shares from Torch. This must be clarified because there are still a ton of people that believe only OG Torch gets into NB Next Bridge Hydrocarbons. Okay, John Berta says this is clearly stated in the S1. You can buy MMTLP or own MMTLP by the record date and hold, and you get the Next Bridge Hydrocarbons distribution. Plain as day. Let me state something. The person who wrote this tweet he was influenced by FUD from short sellers who are making it unclear and who are they're just spreading fear, uncertainty, and doubt everywhere. Okay, this was clearly stated in the S1 a long, long time ago. There are some people who refuse to believe what's written in the S1, so they will read it and then they will find some reason to say it is not clear, but it is clear. Okay, it's been clear for a very, very long time. Don't get yourself caught up in this FUD. This is just crap. And John Berta, he's not going to say it's crap. He's too polite. I'll say it's crap. This is just crap. And if you know the source of this information, you will probably block whoever is feeding you this crap, because this crap it's meant to confuse you. Okay. And I dealt with this crap a while back. I dealt with it again and again. Finally, I couldn't deal with answering the same question over and over and over again in a variety of different ways through, I don't know, God knows what types of torturous mind tricks that they're trying to pull. I just finally had to block them. I couldn't deal with it anymore. John Berta is a nicer guy than me. Maybe he didn't block him. Who knows? Anyway, this is an important tweet. Some thoughts on the delay of the corporate action notices at FINRA. Looks like I might be a buyer again. Yeah. If you got it, if you can buy at a discount, which looks like we can, it could be worth something. Now, as for the shorts covering, my opinion is that they've been trying to close all their shorts since the first day of MMTLP. Yes, that's what I think too. Everybody's been holding since day one until now. Well, I've been buying since day one. So not everyone's been, well, yes, I've been buying and holding. So in any case, everybody has been holding since day one until now, and they have not covered even a significant part of their illegal short. John Berta says, great thread. I agree with you. It's so great to have John Berta here on this, I mean, in this Twitter space, in Twitter, so that he can actually comment on this stuff. We are very, very lucky to have the former CEO of Torchlight tweet, and I am grateful for everything he has said, okay? This is my take on what the 4 largest shareholders of MMTLP have, okay? Altogether, they have about 51 million shares of MMTLP. That represents 31% of 165 million shares, okay? The current value of for each individual is currently, for Greg McCabe, something like $162 million. Of MMTLP, for someone like John Berta, it's worth about $17 million. For William Stewart, 147, almost $150 million. And for David, he's looking at about $100 million worth of MMTLP stock, basically, None of them have sold a single share. And they've repeatedly said they're not going to sell a single share. Why? Because even though this is a lot of money, this is nothing like with the money they expect to get. At $125 a share, each one of them would be a billionaire, right? McCabe is looking at about $2.5 billion. William Stewart is looking at about $2.25 billion or so. We're talking about a lot of money. And that's at $125 a share. That's not where these guys said that they thought the stock would get to. They said $300 a share, $500 a share, right? The last thing I saw was $500 a share from David. But at $300 a share, we're talking about almost $6 billion for Greg McCabe, $600 million for John Berta, right? $5.3 billion for William, and about $3.5 billion for David. That's the kind of money they're looking at. They're not looking at $98 million. They're not looking at $162 million. They're looking at $5.8 billion, $5.3 billion, right? $3.5 billion. That's the kind of money they're looking at, The smallest of them are looking at $600 million. That's where they think this can be headed, right? That's why they haven't sold a single share. That's why I haven't sold a single share, okay? And I'm nowhere near these guys. But if these guys aren't selling, why should I, right? I'm going to follow their lead. I'm usually not a follower, but in this case, they've pretty much convinced me that things could head up dramatically, okay? 500, because way back, I'm going to switch back, way back. This slide, right? This slide tells me that there has not been short covering. If I'm expecting 80 million shares of buying in one day, if I'm expecting 280 million shares of buying in one day, that means we could clearly hit $1,000 a share, okay? Do I think we'll be hitting $1,000 a share anytime soon? I think they're going to put this off for as long as possible. Then there's going to be some massive amounts of buying. The price is going to skyrocket. $300 a share is going to be a minimum. Okay, $300 a share will be a minimum, most likely. And I think David is going to be right. I think it's going to hit 500. Who knows? And it's going to happen very, very fast. It's going to happen in 1 or 2, maybe 3 days. That means prices are going to be rising so fast, it's going to make your head spin. I'm thinking of taking, I don't know, I'm thinking of taking the 12th off just for the hell of it. All right, watch the stock price go. Could be fun. Could be fun. Anyway, so MMTLP, is the story coming to a close? The MMTLP story is coming to a close. There's another story out there that I call the double squeeze. The parent company of MMTLP is called Metamaterials, and people could reinvest their profits back into MMAT. MMAT has a market cap of about $700 million right now, and we're talking billions and billions and billions of dollars of profit to MMTLP. So if even a portion of that goes back into MMAT, where do you think the price of that's going to go to? That's why I call it the double squeeze. It could happen. I can't predict the future. But that's the continuation of this story, I believe. Let me repeat. I am not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. This information is intended for entertainment and educational purposes only. It is December 3rd, 2022 at the time of this video. I wish you good luck and good fortune, and I wish you good night. So, goodbye, and thanks for watching this video.